Hello, today I thought we'd do another vintage tag. I do love doing tags, especially vintage ones. I've cut a large one from just some packaging of an envelope. This is just the brown paper that was the front of the envelope, and the board was the back, which stopped it from being able to be bent, so anything fragile could be sent through the post. I'm going to cover the back eventually, but at the moment I'll concentrate on the front. So I've punched a hole. My tag is about 11 centimetres wide, 22 centimetres long, and then I've just cut the corners off. I'm going to start, hopefully, if it's big enough, not quite, by covering my tag with tea stained paper. Now it is a little warped, but that doesn't really matter to me. And I've got a plan that I'm going to cover this part of the tag with another paper, so I'm going to concentrate on the top bit. You can cover the entire tag if you want, if you've got a big enough piece of tea stained paper, or pattern make paper for that matter. So I'm just going around the edges, around the hole where the reinforcer will go, and then a squiggle in the middle. Let's see, which side do I like most? I think I prefer this side. It's got a bit of a dark patch, but I don't mind that. So I'm going to line it up with the top. Actually, I want that edge lined up as well. So up at the top and that edge there, so that I've got this nice, if it would stop put that is, and I've got this nice sort of tea stained edge to it. I have to put a bit more on because it's dried before I've got it lined up. So a bit more on the edges. As I say, I never mind texture, so if it's a little bit wrinkly, I don't mind. Go over this edge again. Make sure I've got a decent amount of glue on. It is very warped, is my tea stained paper. I've got this pretty vintage looking paper which I have a plan for there. I've got this nice picture of this lady and the child, and they've got quite a lot of lace and bows and things on their dress. So I thought this lacy paper, and I've got this white lace, but it is quite white. So I have got some of the same lace which I've actually soaked in tea. I just made a very, very strong mug of tea, left my lace in it for a couple of hours, took it out and hung it up to dry, and it goes this nice vintagey colour, tea stained colour. You don't rinse it out once you've taken it out of the cup, you just basically dry it. I just hung it up on the line just to dry. More glue there again. Once I've cut this to the shape of my tag, I can make sure if I need any more glue on. So I'll just cut the surplus off, and as I say, I will cover the back of my tag later. Yeah, now it's lifting quite a lot at the sides, so I'll put some more glue in there, right up to the edge. Press down a lot. Any more areas? Yeah, a bit more there. I'll possibly not iron this tea stained paper so it was straight. Mostly I tend to iron it, but sometimes if I forget, it is very, very warped. Right. We're nearly all stuck. I want to ink the edges up, and I might even distress the edges a little bit as well, so in fact, well, I'll give it a go. I'm just using my scissors and just rubbing them along the edges of the paper just to distress it a bit. And then I might put some ink on as well. Possibly some vintage photo distress ink. Just to give it a bit of colour. Or a bit of extra colour around the edges. Yeah. That's enough for now. Now, as I say, I have got a plan. Might need that paper later. I've got this pretty one. It's a vintagey sort of lace effect paper. And I'm going to cut this out. If you can see, this is the lace pattern. Now, let's see where it will go to. There is some pearls there, but I'm not absolutely certain. Yes, if I cut here. So just make sure that you, before you cut it, that you make sure that you've got the right measurement, the right width of paper. So I'm cutting round the lace on the paper. You could just layer another piece of tea stained paper on the bottom if it isn't long enough and bring it part way up, sort of a torn edge. You can basically do all sorts of things to cover up if you haven't got enough paper. And when you're fussy cutting, it's far easier to move the paper than the scissors. So if you can see, I'm moving the paper around rather than the scissors, and it's much easier and you get a better cut if you do that. This I'm going to keep because I'm probably going to use that as well. But that piece is just going to go on there, and I think it'll give it quite a nice sort of bit of interest at the bottom. Now at the moment I'm not sure whether I'm going to put this with the photograph partly underneath, so this is on top, or not. I haven't quite decided. And I'm not sure if I'm going to put a little bit of something in that corner. Yes, I think I'm just going to cut that straight up there. Reserve that for later. Just putting that on there. So I'm going to just tear it from corner to corner. Because this paper matches with this, it'll just make it look as if it's got some unity. So I'm going to glue that on there, and then I'll cut that corner across. There may be not a lot of it left showing, but it will be there. I think that edge up first. Along that edge, and I'll go all the way across. I know some of this will get cut off, but if I've got glue everywhere, then I know that I will have glue in the right areas. So I'm just going to go, so I've lined up with that edge there. and the top. So the top and the top edge are lined up. That's it. I need to put a bit more glue on, but anyway. Right. I will have to re-punch my hole because I've covered it up. Hopefully I can get this in. It is a bit of a struggle. Fingers crossed, it should more or less go to the right place. Hopefully without scuffing the front too much. There we are, yeah. So I'll ink that up again so that all my edges match. So when that is down the bottom there, it looks as if it belongs together. Now, if I've got some hole reinforcers, I'll just bob that on, dink it up with brown. So it has a tea-stained look. I won't do the back obviously because I'm going to cover the back. Now, I'm going to scuff the edges of my photograph so it looks a little bit more distressed. This is an old cabinet card that well, a cabinet card or postcard that I purchased, and because it's out of copyright, I can copy it on my computer. Now I think she might end up going just underneath there. So I quite like that, but it does need something a bit more interesting. I wonder if I could take it down a bit more. Not so much of it showing. That might be better. Mind you, if I'm going to put lace on and other things on, because I've got these die cut flowers which I thought I might go on here somewhere. And I was going to put some lace across here as well, or even a big blousey bow. So what I think I'll do is, I've got some cream card, I've got some music papers. What I think I'll do is I'll pop her onto a bit of music paper. So she's got a bit of background, just put that the way. So I want it there. So if I take my ruler and line it up where I need to have it cut, keeping all my little bits to the side for if I need them. I'll do the bottom bit first. Work my way around. Like that. Another one. There we are, she's got a bit more interest now behind her. She might have to go straight on. So if I do her too much of an angle, she'll be too much off the page. Yeah, I think we're not far off there. Let's find my glue dots. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it up onto here, but using foam pads. These are just circular ones. Now, also remember, if you've got these that are in a sheet, and you're using the glue dots, don't waste this. You can use this as well. You can use that, once all the glue dots have gone out, in a big piece in the middle to attach things on. One more, I think. Maybe a couple in the middle. So. Nearly all off. One more. So, got an equal border all the way around. There we are. Still haven't decided if she's going to go underneath or on top. I think she will possibly go on top like that. And that just a bit further down. So the bottom of my tag is there. And then if my lace goes over there, that will look quite pretty. Or a big blousey bow, we'll see. So, got a little bit of a gap there. So what I'm going to do, I've got this nice number here. And I have a thing about numbers, as you all know. So I'm just going to glue that on the bottom. So I want my number at the end. So I'm going to put that there. Majority of it will be covered up. But if there was just a little gap, at least it will be not bare cardboard now. There we go, that's better. So, let's see. Yeah. These little die cuts are very, very pretty. And I might layer these, bring her down. And I might layer these coming onto the photograph. There's a few different ones. Maybe even the big one at the top. A smaller one there. Yeah, I quite like that placement. I'm just going to try a big bow and see what it looks like. See if it's just... I'm going to scrunch this ribbon up because it's quite stiff because it's been tea-dyed. And then it'll be a little bit more flexible. So, I do 2 bunny ears, cross them over, and the top one through the rabbit hole, and then pull, and then you can rearrange your bow. Yeah, that might quite nice. What you can do is just pull it about till it looks how you want it to look. And as tight or as loose as you want. I want it a little bit tighter, so I'll keep pulling it back till it is the size and shape that I want. Once it's glued on, I can always arrange it a little bit better, so then it won't move. And I'm going to cut that bit off. Could always put a bit more there, or a bit more at the top. But I think that'll do. Now these die cuts are very, very fine, but they're very pretty. I think they're a bit white at the moment. They just need a little bit more colour. They do need the little bits, extra bits poking out once you first die cut them. Sometimes the little bits just stop in, so you can just get a pair of scissors and get them out. So I think I'm going to give them a little bit of colour, just so they're toning with the whole thing. I've got, let's see, spun sugar, which is very, very pale pink. So I'm just going to get a bit of colour and then just dab it, just gently, on the die cuts. You could always use a pen, a watercolour pen as well. A Sharpie, really anything like that. I think I'll put a bit of pink on here as well. And I'm also going to do a little bit of green. This is bundled sage, which I really like, which is a nice green. And I'm just going to do a little bit on the stems, just so it looks a little bit more realistic. I might do a little dab here and there in the flowers as well, because flowers have green bits as well as pink. So that's quite pretty. This would be the stem, which would be green. Don't rub too vigorously, unless you will crease the die cuts. They are very delicate. And again, a little bit of green here and there on the tops, just to make it look a bit more realistic. You could also add a little bit of brown for a vintagey look. That looks a bit better. Don't think I need that one. We'll leave that one. So we've got our die cuts. Back to our tag. So I've got die cuts, I've got the bow. What else have we got? Now I did wonder about a little splash of bright colour with some thread. This is just normal sewing thread. And I just gather loads and loads and loads together like that. And if I want, then I can add that somewhere in the design, even if it's just poking out from underneath. We'll see. So we've got that, we've got that, we've got that. What else have we got that we might use? Don't think I need any more layers underneath, really. No, I think I'm quite happy with how we are like that. I just need to glue everything down now. So it's just deciding whether I'm having it under or over. I think I am going to have her under. So I'm going to glue her on there. What I might do first, actually, is a little bit of crackle stamping up here. I'm just going to do that with Vintage Photo. So this is a indigo blue crackle stamp, and I'm just going to add a little bit around the edges, and I just gently touch it to the edges. I don't go with the full stamp, just little areas of it, so it brings the crackle in. And then I'll go little bits down the sides, but again, not a great amount of stamping, just a little bit, just occasionally, just bringing it in. because more of this area will show. I'll bring it in a bit more there. So that's that. I love that crackle stamp from Indigo Blue. It is lovely. So that's out the way. So now I'll glue her on. Because this is music paper and it's patterned on the back, it doesn't matter if she overlaps at corners because you'll still see nice music paper from the back of the tag. So I'm only going with the glue in the middle because then the edges will be allowed to raise up a little bit. Just position it before I stick it down, that way. The edges will raise up a bit, but also you won't get glue under these bits which are off the edge of the tag. That's that. I'll glue that on. What I might do is go a little bit underneath there. Yeah, I think that looks better, like that. So again, I'm going to go all the way along the edges, all the way around, some in the middle. I don't think it'll come quite to the bottom, so I'll make sure there's plenty on there. Go slightly underneath. Line the edge up, that's the most important bit. Press down. I could have gone on with foam pads, but I don't think it's necessary. Just clean that bit of glue off before I cut it with my scissors. And again we've cut the excess off. I think the edges, so it looks as if it belongs again. You can actually do a little bit of crackle stamping on top of here, on top of the patterned paper, just so it looks as if it belongs in the same design. So we've got crackle around there as well. Now these are obviously extremely delicate. You see they fit with the vintage theme a little bit more now. What I'm just going to do is put a bit of glue underneath there, tiny bit there, and then some down here. I'm not going to bother with that one so much because it maybe won't stick. Maybe that little bit will. And then we'll have this a bit shorter. There, yeah, so I'm going to cut the excess off. That's not going to show, so we'll cut that off there. Alright, so I'll stick that on. And because it'll be this side that'll stick, one there. And then you can get hold of the stem where it hasn't got glue on it. So. Come on, stick. Right, so that's one bit. So we've got our die cuts glued on. Just wondering if we need a little bit of extra stamping on here. maybe just a tad. And I think in black. So just put the glue lid back on. I've got more little flowers there which I could put on if I wanted, but I think I'm alright at the moment. So I'm just going to go in here and in here a little bit, just to add a bit more interest. I love my text stamps. I just think they add something. Yeah, that's enough. That was another indigo blue stamp. Now, let's see. We've got our big bow. It's determined not to stick, is that one. I'll have to have another little bit of glue on the back. What you can do is put a little bit on your finger. Raise it up, dab it on the back. And stick it. Wait while it sticks, just keep your finger on it. We've got our thread, which might be a bit brash actually. I think it's a bit bright. I think I've got some green which might be more appropriate. Yeah. Just gather it up into a bundle. Go underneath there, we'll see. I think the tails of these need to be a little bit shorter. I don't mind that part of that is covered up. It is stuck down so I can't get it off. Yeah, I think I quite like that. I know it covers part of my flowers, but I don't mind. This is extra strong PVA, so it will stick the lace. All I'll do is concentrate a blob down the middle where my solid bit of the lace will be. So it's a bit more solid there. It'll dry clear. Press it on nicely. And it will stick. We'll probably cut those end bits off, but I'll wait till they're completely dry, because if I try and cut them off before, it won't do it. We've got our big bow there. Oh, there. Right midway. There, I think. What I'll do is I'll put another blob of glue for our cotton to go on, thread to go on. I'll just tease it out a little bit. And then what I think I'll do is add a little bit of heavy gel medium, because I don't think the PVA, even though it's extra strong PVA, will make my bow stop on there enough. I think it'll just come off. So I've got my big lousy bow at the bottom, and you don't see much of the thread, but it just pokes out every so often. You can tease it through the middle if you want. And pull it so it shows a bit more. And if I wanted, I could add a couple of flowers at the top. Yeah, I might do that. So here's my pink. Sorry about next door's dog. That's a bit. I'll just ink the pink flower up, the tea stained flower up a little bit. I've got a pencil to just give it a bit of dimension. I just press in the middle. Actually, I think I might add it down there rather. Just put that away. Clear the decks a little. More glue. So I've just got some PVA glue on the back. I think we'll go there. A bit more pink. Give it a bit more dimension. Yeah, up there I think again. I've got quite a few of these little flowers, so I can dot them about. Could put one in there actually, that would fill that little gap. That would be a good idea, jolly good idea. Just in there. And then I don't think I've got any down here, but some little tiny buttons just in the middle would look nice. I don't think I've got any small enough ones down here. Still want to be really, really tiny ones. No, I haven't. No. So I'll find some little tiny buttons. They want to be smaller than that. But just sort of in there, there and there. And then I think that is our finished tag. Thank you.